Hello and welcome. My name is David, and today I will be answering 3 questions that you can ask yourself that will tell you everything you need to know about community colleges. So the first question we must ask ourselves is, who attends community colleges? Before I answer that question, it's important to give context to this entire presentation. Everything that follows, everything a community college does, from its charter to who works there, to methods of learning, to how they receive and spend their money, to issues they face today and or will face in the future, everything. It all relates to who attends community colleges. A community college is run to cater towards its demographic, and that demographic that attends are drawn to the environment and charter of a community college. It's all about that growing niche that community colleges have. But we have to start somewhere, and the best place to start is with the first question, who attends community colleges? Now, the simple answer is non-traditional learners. And for the sake of this presentation, I've also put emphasis on individuals who cannot afford tuition costs, as I feel this is a factor in the growing numbers of non-traditional learners. So, talking about those concerned with rising tuition costs, some may say college isn't worth it. Well, high tuition costs can indeed deter individuals from attending a four-year institution. After all, these individuals are observing a massive increase in student loan debt and are observing a massive rise in tuition costs. They see little benefit in spending time and money on a diploma that still may not guarantee them a job. At a later time, for various reasons, some of these individuals may see a need to return to school, but it's hard to say. Regardless of their age or their goal, and regardless of if they attend school full-time or part-time, a good portion of students attending community colleges are working to some degree. They feel that they have to work to afford an education, or they maybe already are working full-time and they have no choice. Work schedules are one solid reason why a community college learning environment is better suited for these types of individuals, which we'll touch on in a little bit. Many students who attend community colleges are returning to school with tons of obligations to juggle. Others may fall into a subcategory that could become a barrier to learning in a traditional four-year institution. They need classes that are more flexible, classes that are taught online. They do not want to take entrance exams or take remedial courses just because they come from a disadvantaged background. Maybe they can't even afford to attend a university for a full 4 years, and so they have no choice but to start with a community college for 2 years in hopes of eventually transferring. These students who might be from a disadvantaged background and are seeking academic boosts, amongst other types of students, are aiming to transfer to a four-year institution after attending a community college for a few years. Community colleges are cheaper. They have smaller class sizes. They employ faculty who focus on teaching rather than research, and they offer classes that are more flexible to these types of learners. The last type of learners are at a community college are individuals who are seeking vocational technical degrees and certificates. These individuals do not want or need to attend a four-year institution. They need the flexibility, they need the cost-effectiveness of a community college within their specific technical courses to earn their degree or certificate for their job. More and more small and local businesses are partnering with community colleges to train, quote unquote, these workers, allowing for a mutual benefit. Now that we know who is attending community college, the next step in understanding them is focusing on their charter. Who runs them? Who works there? What do they teach? In answering these types of questions, keep in mind the various demographics we just discussed who are attending community colleges. So here, I'll be explaining the organization of a community college by using the example of Arizona Pima Community College organization chart. Each of the 10 Arizona Community College districts has a local district governing board that is comprised of locally elected members. Again, using the example of Pima Community College in Tucson, the Board of Governors is comprised of 5 members representing different backgrounds from different experiences throughout the different districts of Tucson. The board employs a chancellor or president to run college-specific operations. From there are provosts and vice chancellors or vice presidents in charge of the key departments of a community college. Those would be academic affairs. They focus on faculty. Student affairs focus on advising, professional development, even tutoring and aiding those students who want to transfer. There's administrative and financial services. This focuses on anything financial related or anything to do with admissions. And then spread out on the bottom of that organization chart are very important departments that directly relate to the public good. and partnerships within the local community, which I will touch on in a little bit. One major difference between a four-year institution and a community college lies within who teaches and how they do it. All faculty are focused on teaching rather than research. This is huge. Some faculty can be working professionals from the community who want to share their expertise. Others might just be passionate about teaching, right, as opposed to research. Faculty can be grouped into three distinct disciplines, both full-time and part-time, or adjunct. There's academic, who are faculty who are mostly concerned with transfer students. This type requires a master's degree in a field so that the courses are deemed equivalent and sufficient enough to be able to be transferred over to a different university or community college. There are developmental faculty who are primarily concerned with remedial courses. This is a growing area of concern. And finally, there are occupational or workforce faculty. These are faculty for students who are seeking vocational technical degrees. The courses tend to be taught by individuals with experience within those different technical industries. The way the courses are taught across the board are catering toward these non-traditional learners, such as adult learners who may have other obligations with little time to learn, learners who need academic boosts and are seeking smaller classes with no strict GPA barriers or requirements, learners who want to transfer, and learners who just want to learn a specific skill. Now, every action a community college takes is toward upholding its charter and enacting a public good. But here I'll be focusing on two major aspects that invoke community and organizational involvement: transfer and local partnerships. Transfer, which we have already touched on, allows for ease of transfer for students looking to go from a community college to a four-year institution. Articulation and transfer agreements can allow a student to be admitted to a four-year institution at the junior level, bypassing general core and other core courses. This partnership between a local community college and local university can save students a ton of money and can also give them a GPA and academic boost due to the learning environment that community college fosters. The other aspect lies within collaboration with small businesses and local organizations to promote growth through offering courses that can allow for more skilled workers in a specific field, which then can allow that field to grow, which in turn can hopefully grow the local economy and then increase funding and enrollment for community college. They can promote growth through supporting and sometimes even funding small business development centers and other small investment projects. They can promote growth through community college's role in sponsoring cultural, community, and athletic events. Overall, a community college's public good is to support their local community in all aspects, from new businesses, technical workers, students wanting to switch to a four-year institution, low-income students, individuals with other obligations, and so on. In doing so, the community college also receives an uptick in, hopefully but not recently, funding, donations, and enrollment. Speaking of funding, it's important to note where community college's funding typically comes from. Community colleges rely on funding mostly from tuition and property tax. State aid is only a sliver of what contributes to the money a community college has. So how can community colleges receive more funding to continue to maintain and improve their services to a growing niche demographic of non-traditional learners? The answer, lies in question 3. Community colleges are facing a variety of issues. Every issue melts together with funding at the forefront. Funding has been lowered across the board, making budget a common and key issue during government board meetings. This has even warranted an increase in students' voices during these meetings in order to obtain better insight. So why can't community colleges receive enough funding? Some legislators say if a community college wants more funding, they need to work on their completion rate. However, it's hard to define completion rate, and it's hard for legislators to understand how community college completion differs in four-year institutions. Many students at community colleges aim to transfer only to take a few courses. If you include transfer numbers with incompletion numbers for full-time students, community colleges have nearly 61% completion rate. This is not really how it's seen by others. The issue with developmental or remedial courses can prevent individuals from being able to transfer due to lack of basic skills in English, math, etc. But if a community college focuses on testing to gauge students' levels, then it becomes a negative for adult learners and vocational learners. It will also deter the very thing it has tried to prevent, welcoming individuals with little barriers to entry. The demographic a community college caters to do not want to attend remedial courses or extra workshops. Additionally, individuals may not complete a degree until 6 or even 8 years after starting. This may be because their goal isn't to finish as quick as possible, but rather is to finish while balancing work and other obligations. Legislators often do not measure completion rate this far out. 40% of state funding to community colleges is measured by improving outcomes. However, when a community college starts to focus on outcomes to obtain more funding, they will begin to stray away from the charter of what a community college is. They will become more outcome focused instead of focusing on learning. So, in conclusion, community colleges perform a service to the community that no other educational institution can or is willing to. From flexibility in courses for adult learners, to aiding in academic boosts, to creating pathways to transfer, to offering learning-based education at a low cost, to partnering with local communities to improve the local economy. Community colleges have had a bad stigma to some, but the majority of Americans are finally slowly starting to see the benefit of attending a community college.